Welcome friends, enemies, and everyone in between to my channel, The Masked Mormon. I am in fact the Masked Mormon.
Why you wearing a mask? Were you burned by acid or something like that?
Oh no, it's just they're terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them in the future.
If you are returning here, welcome back. If this is your first time, I am a Mormon who used to believe in the truth claims of the Mormon Church. I did it all. I was baptized, went on a mission, went to BYU, temple marriage, and all the rest of it. I truly believed in the claims of Mormonism. Now, I explore some of the implications of Mormon theology, culture, and some of my own personal experiences, and talk about it on the internet with you fine viewers. And if you haven't already, if you like what I do, please like and subscribe. Today is a special episode of The Masked Mormon. Today, we're doing a sting operation to catch a predator style. But first, I was writing this script before the recent Mormonism Live episode that really goes into depth on proving that Joseph Smith was a polygamist. There seems to be a not insignificant faction of people who deny Joseph's practice of polygamy. So, I reworked some of this script to incorporate some of the things that were said in the Mormonism Live episode. If you haven't listened to it yet, definitely go and listen to that fantastic episode. This is 37-year-old Joseph Smith. Joseph claims to be a prophet and is the leader of a fledgling Christian breakoff called the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or more colloquially as the Mormons. Joseph and his people have been chased all over the 19th century American West, moving from New York to Ohio to Missouri, and finally settling down on the banks of the Mississippi River and founding the city of Nauvoo, Illinois. Joseph claims to be able to receive revelations from God. He has sent missionaries throughout the U.S. and into England. Converts flock to this bustling city. The fast growth has several of the neighboring towns concerned. The Mormons are a united bunch, and they are seen as a peculiar people for several of their beliefs. One of those beliefs in particular has been whispered about and has many people concerned, and that is a belief about something called plural marriage. You see, Joseph Smith is married to Emma, but in secret he has been taking other women as wives. Of course, the laws of the land only recognize a single marriage. But Joseph has been marrying other women, including the wives of other men. Those men he is sending on missions. And most shockingly, he is marrying teenage girls. Now this rumor has been circulating for quite some time of Joseph's infidelity. In 1836, he had an affair with his 17-year-old housekeeper, Fanny Alger. His wife saw the transaction and ejected Fanny from her home. Joseph's friend Oliver Cowdery, whom Joseph tried to have defuse the situation with his wife, took Emma's side and called the relationship a dirty, nasty, filthy affair. This may have been one of the reasons Joseph excommunicated Oliver. Today, we have Joseph here with us, and we are going to confront him about some of his other underage wives. Joseph thinks he is meeting one of his targets to proposition her for marriage, a 19-year-old young woman named Nancy Rigdon, the daughter of one of his close friends. At this time, Joseph has at least 7 other wives, besides his legal wife, Emma. Nancy, are you here? Oh, come on in. Come on in. Come have a seat. Okay. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm just meeting a friend. Who is this friend? Oh, just one of the people in my congregation. Really? What if I told you that I knew that you were here to try to proposition a young woman into marriage, when you already have a legal wife? Well, I am a prophet of God, and He wants for our happiness. Happiness is the object and design of our existence. Well, it is refreshing that you aren't denying it. But That isn't what's most concerning to me today. It's bad enough that you are propositioning this young woman for marriage. That which is wrong under one circumstance may be and often is right under another. This is the principle upon which the government of heaven is conducted. Yeah, I see that's what you wrote in this letter to young Miss Nancy Rigdon. But like I said, that isn't really what concerns me most today. Do you know what does? What? That you have also been propositioning underage girls for marriage. Where is my accuser? If we don't accuse each other, God will not accuse you. If you have no accuser, you will enter heaven. What many people call sin is not sin. That's strange. Was that a threat? And are you telling me that if you have no accusers, then all is well? Well, yeah. Well, your own words do plenty of accusing of you as well, as the words of some of those you have preyed upon. You don't have any proof. What a thing is it for a man to be accused of committing adultery and having 7 wives, when I can find only one. I am the same man as I was. I'm the same man and as innocent as I was 14 years ago, and I can prove them all perjurers. It's funny you should say that, because at the time you said that, it had been recorded that you had over 25 wives, not 7. What sort of time jump nonsense is this? I thought you were talking about me allegedly propositioning Nancy Rigdon here in good old 1842, and that apparently happened when I'm giving a sermon in 1844? Try not to think about it too hard, and that goes for the rest of you as well. We're going to be jumping around in time a bit. Just enjoy the ride. Joseph, you propositioned young Nancy, and she rebuffed your advances. You then wrote her a letter trying to talk her into a relationship that she wasn't comfortable with. We have that letter, and it is now called the happiness letter. You try to justify the divine command theory by saying that whatever God commands is right. You even just quoted that letter right now. What do you have to say for yourself? Lies, all lies. I was only testing her virtue. I wanted to make sure she was as pure as her father said she was. That sure seems so convenient. She rebuffs you, and then you say, "Oh, I was just testing her." We also have a letter you wrote to 17-year-old Sarah Ann Whitney. What's worse is that you manipulated her father of all people, a person that she should trust, into allowing you to marry his daughter. You promised him and his family honor and immortality and eternal life. We have the marriage ceremony written down. And then, after the deed is done, we have a letter in which you are trying to arrange a night liaison with Sarah. You say, "Be careful to find out when Emma comes. Then you cannot be safe. But when she is not here, there is the most perfect safety." Why would it be safe only if Emma's not there? Then you continue on where you say, "Only be careful to escape observation. Burn this letter," you say. "Keep it all locked in your breasts," you say. Why are you wanting so much secrecy from your wife? Why don't you want Emma to find out? I just wanted to see her father, mother, and Sarah. They are all dear friends of mine. It has nothing to do with doing anything untoward to Sarah. You have to be kidding me. You expect me to believe that you went through all this cloak and dagger to hide things from your legal wife just so you can have a visit with some friends? What about you marrying the sisters, let's see here, Maria and Sarah Lawrence? How old are they, Joseph? How old are Maria and Sarah Lawrence? I think Maria is 19 and Sarah is 17. Isn't this getting ridiculous? Isn't it true that you eventually strong-armed Emma into accepting plural marriage and permitting you to marry several young women? Well, yes, she permitted me to be married to Eliza and Emily Partridge, as well as to the Lawrence sisters. But didn't you already marry some of these young women and then performed a sham ceremony to hide that fact from Emma, that you had already married them? Yes, but if I had told her I already had married them, then it would have made things much more difficult for her to accept the will of God. Didn't you also then spend the night with Emily Partridge? Yeah, I did. But, alas, Emma didn't let me spend any more time with her after that night. I have a couple more things to get through here, Joseph. Do you know Helen Mar Kimball? Yes, I do. She is a lovely girl. How old is Helen? I believe she is a few months shy of 15. So, you know then that she is 14? Yes. Did you marry her? Well, we have Helen's own account of you propositioning her. You worked on her through her father. This seems to be quite the insidious pattern you have here, Joseph, of manipulating some of these girls through their fathers. You pressured her to marry you. You gave her, 24 hours to answer you. After she waffled, you tried to explain plural marriage to her, and then you promised eternal salvation and exaltation for her and her whole family. You essentially gave her, what does the mob say? An offer she couldn't refuse. She was under the impression that her marriage to you would just be a ceremony. She said, I would never have been sealed to Joseph had I known it was anything more than a ceremony. I was young, and they deceived me by saying the salvation of our whole family depended on it. You destroyed the innocence of this young girl. I did not. I opened the gates of salvation for her and her family. She was a child. She was even forbidden from attending a dance with her friends. She loved to dance. She longed for the freedom from the bondage you placed her under. But she, of course, couldn't go to the dance because dances are for single people. And she was a married woman now. Ooh. You destroyed the lives of so many of these girls and women. But I deeded so many of these lovely women land. I gave them wealth and influence when they couldn't have had such things. So you paid them off? Well, I wouldn't say that. I wanted to take care of the people that I loved. But what about your legal wife, Joseph? Doesn't all of this stuff hurt her? What are you doing? You claim to love Emma, but what are you doing to her? You even wrote a revelation to her, right here, where you are threatening her with destruction if she doesn't submit to your cheating on her. This is recorded in Doctrine and Covenants, section 132. You threaten her with destruction at least twice in that document, and to women in general 11 times if they don't submit. I love her dearly, but I am justified in practicing the law because Abraham, David, and Solomon all practiced plural marriage. I must restore all things. God gave these men these plural wives. Well, Joseph, if that's the case, why didn't you restore the prohibition on, eating shellfish or pork or wearing garments made of different fabrics? If you were restoring all things, why not those? Didn't you tell some of your victims that an angel with a drawn sword was threatening you with destruction if you didn't practice plural marriage? I think it was, wasn't it 9 of your plural wives that you told this to? Yes, it was terrifying. If I didn't enter into plural marriage, the angel would have destroyed me. That seems somewhat convenient. especially since you already had taken several plural wives when you claimed that this so-called angel threatened you with destruction if you didn't cheat on your wife. It sounds like you are manipulating these people to marry you.
Not true. The angel threatened me, I swear.
But you were already practicing it. Why would the angel threaten you to practice something that you are already practicing? Also, couldn't this angel visit your victims? I mean, wives? You tell people that they are entitled to revelation as well. Wouldn't it make more sense for these women and girls to be visited by this being? If they were, they probably would have entered into plural marriage very willingly.
It is about having faith and being obedient to the mouthpiece of the Lord.
Did you ask to shake this angel's hand?
What?
You taught in Doctrine and Covenants section 129 that to test whether a heavenly messenger was true or not, you should shake their hand. If you do this, then you can readily tell if they are a true messenger or not.
No, I didn't ask to shake his hand.
So, how do you know if this was a true messenger or not?
Because I'm a prophet, of course I would know.
But you didn't shake his hand, or this angel conveniently didn't visit your victims.
Well, I had a revelation that it was a true messenger.
Sure. Even if it was a revelation, you didn't follow the instructions of your so-called revelation. You had to get consent from the first wife. You had to marry only non-married women. So many rules that you were apparently supposed to follow in Doctrine and Covenants section 132, and quite obviously, you didn't. You had yourself married to children and to women who were already married.
You just have to have faith.
Joseph, let's be real. You were cheating on your wife with these affairs. But I get it. You had a lot of power and influence. You were corrupted by this power.
But I didn't have sex with all of them.
Joseph, plural marriage isn't about sex, but it's about power and control. Even if you didn't have sex with them, you still abused them. You still abused your position of power over these people. And you still had sex with several of them. You cheated on your wife, plain and simple. What's more is that you are corrupt. And in your abuse of power, you destroyed the lives of so many people, including your poor, poor wife. And you cloaked all of this in secrecy. This likely led to your eventual assassination.
What?
Oh, sorry. I probably shouldn't tell you anything about that. But you should have gone to jail for the rest of your life for your abuse of power and your abuse of people. Unfortunately, people took the law into their own hands and made a martyr out of you.
But look at all the good I have done. I built this great city of Nauvoo.
But people are going to be following your example for the rest of this century. Women and girls will have their hearts broken by this disgusting practice, all because you couldn't keep it in your pants. But let's face it, this really wasn't about sex. It was about power.
There must be very different sensibilities in each of our respective times. Our values and culture must be very different.
You might think that, Joseph, but they really aren't all that different. Case in point, how secret you have tried to keep your affairs. You didn't go announcing them to everyone. Also, the reactions of your legal wife and others in your circle about your philandering. And you will later destroy a newspaper, the Nauvoo Expositor, because it brings to light your practice of plural marriage. And one of the reasons you are attacked by mobs of angry people is because of your behavior. I guess the only difference between our times is that in my time, we would have gotten the police involved. Vigilante justice is looked down upon more in my time than it is in yours. But let's be honest here. There really isn't anything I can do to you here. You're obviously free to go. But if I could, I would have this end with a team of police officers tackling you as you leave and hauling you off to jail, just like in To Catch a Predator.
Oh, what a relief. I am out of here.
Well, that's my interview with the philanderer Joseph Smith. What would you have liked to have said to him? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like what I do, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.